episode of Extreme School Makeovers. This is Raglan Powell Jr., your neighborhood hero. Alright, I'm not going to talk you to death because I know you're waiting to get into this video. Alright, so, but I do want to share something with you. There was this particular young man, and he would keep going around the schools, and he would stop, he would look at me, he would ride his scooter around and stuff like that, and he would videotape me. And, we sat down and, had a conversation. And I didn't put it on videotape because, I don't like to put, kids on video, and not unless I get their, parents' consent or however it may be. But while I was there, we sat there and we had, a long conversation about the schools, just, his neighborhood period, about him in school. We had a good conversation. And his mom had came outside, and because she lived maybe 3 or 4 down, they lived like 3 or 4 houses down from, the school I was working at. And she came out and, she was inquiring, who her son was talking to or whatever. So, I introduced myself, told her, what I was doing with the schools and things of that nature, showed her the YouTube page and, just told her the mission in general, and she got the, she was, highly pleased and stuff like that. But, she was a concerned parent. She wanted to know who her son was talking to. And rightfully so, So, we sat there and me and her, and her son, we talked for maybe about 30 minutes, and just got familiar with each other. And, she was telling me, how, she really, really liked what I was doing as far as why I was helping out the school, because really nobody, really does it, and it's never really, really manicured. She said, if they do the front, then the sides and the back is all out of whack. If they do the back, then the front and the side. Then if they do this, it's just, it's never all done at one time. And she was just amazed how, one person could go there and just do all of that stuff, in a swoop or however it may be, and I said, no, this is just, what I do, and this is just what I want to do. And it's, I'm trying to get, more people involved, and, trying to provide, training services, for the, custodial and the grounds crews of the schools and stuff like that. And she was like, it's very, very much needed. And, we got to going on and on and on. With that being said, she told the, young man that, not to get dirty because they were going to a family function and stuff like that. So he wound up leaving with his mom and stuff and I went ahead and got back to work. And what I didn't know was, as I was working and I kept cleaning the parking lot and stuff like that, he came back and he watched me on 2 different occasions. Okay, he came by one time before, he came by the one time and was videotaping me, and that's when we, started talking. And then, once his mom they left, he had came back and he just stood there and was just watching me. He didn't have his camera out. He was just on his scooter and he was just watching what I was doing. And I really didn't notice it until his mom had blew the horn and I looked. And he was standing right behind me, just observing and watching what I was doing. And I finally, and I thought that was interesting. And his mom, waved and yelled out the window, thank you and this and that. He very rarely, comes outside and watches, and he very rarely interacts with people. But for him to come out and just watch you is just saying a lot about, what you're doing and stuff like that. So, I gave him, my business card, my contact information. I was like, anytime he's wanting to help out or whatever the case may be, he's more than willing, to come out and help or whatever. But then once they left, it really dawned on me that, what me and him talked about, he may forget that. He really may forget that. But what he saw, he will never forget. He will always remember what he saw at that school. And for him to come back and not make his presence felt and just observe what I was doing said a lot about what I was doing. Maybe he couldn't wrap his mind around why is he doing this, like a lot of people. Or he could have been like, you know what, this is intriguing. This is something that maybe I can do, or maybe this is something that is worth looking into, or maybe he may be like, you know what, this guy's crazy. Or maybe I just don't want to be in the house right now. Maybe for whatever it is, he was there and he was watching and he was observing. He had his camera out and he was watching. And that's something he would always have to look at. And what I came to terms with is that's what it's about. Getting the youth intrigued in something. Whether it's landscaping, whether it's computers, whether it's whatever the case may be. Whatever grabs their attention, whatever intrigues them, let's do it. Okay? Because we got to keep the mind occupied. We can't let it just lay around dormant. Because, things get to rolling around when it's dormant. And that's something we don't want. Okay? But for him to come out and he would watch and this and that, and then, the conversations that we had, he was a, very intelligent and bright young man. He has a future ahead of him. And we had, a good talk, and, me and his mom as well had a good talk. But that really did something inside of me and was like, okay, yes, I'm heading in the right direction. Okay, I'm doing. It may not seem like what I'm doing is reaching the masses right now. It will, but right now it's not reaching the masses, but it will. And if it takes that one person to come out and just watch and emulate and not bother me and just observe what I was doing, just letting me know that I am heading in the right direction. And that really did something to the inside of me. That really made me feel a certain type of way on the inside. Okay? And with that being said, like I said before, and I'm going to say it again, we ain't stopping. We gonna keep on going. All right, because we reached one. I should have, I think I put some of the pictures, of him watching me or whatever in this video, but we ain't stopping. We gonna be here. We ain't going nowhere. We reached one. He observed. He has it on his camera. He was watching. We had a conversation, and after we left, he may have forgot what we talked about. It may have went in one ear and it may have went out the other ear. Right? So, but he will always remember what he saw. If he can't remember it here, it will be on that phone when he was recording it. All right? So, we're heading in the right direction. It may get discouraging at times. It may get frustrating at times, but we're going to keep putting the work in. All right? We're going to keep reaching. If it takes for us to reach one child, one parent, 3 kids, 4 parents, you know what I mean? If it takes that, then that's what we're going to do. Okay? Because if it's intriguing to them, we need to keep them at that. Okay? So I just wanted to share that story with you. I didn't go into depth of what we talked about or whatever the case may be, but I just thought it was real intriguing that he came outside, didn't buy, and was just watching. Okay? That let me know something was twirling around in there. All right? And we're going to think it was positive. And from the conversation we had, I know it was positive. Okay? So, with that being said, I'm not going to take, no more of your time. I was just pleased, and it just made me feel good that a youth actually came out and was intrigued about, what I was doing, how I was doing it, and where I was doing it, because actually he goes to that school. So, and when he, goes and he can have a clear path. He can go in the parking lot without tripping weeds, and the grass wasn't all over the place. We trimmed some trees back for him, okay? And then one thing he did say was, he don't know the last time, they trimmed the trees because he would, have to duck when he was going over, and now he can just, ride his scooter straight down the sidewalk. So I was pleased to do that for him. Okay? So one thing I want to say is thank you for tuning in. If you're new to the channel, hey, I'm Raglan Powell Jr. I go around and I beautify public schools. All right. Thank you for tuning in because this is something I enjoy doing. We got to get more, community members involved so we can make this a bigger, impactful thing. Okay. Thank you for tuning in. For the existing subscribers, thank you as always. I tell you all the time how much I appreciate you, and thank you for sticking with me this long. It may not look like we're making progress, but we're making a whole lot of progress. Okay. So if you all could share this video with as many people as you can, it don't cost anything to do that. If you want to be willing to donate to the mission so we can get more resources and supplies to the kids, should be a QR code somewhere up in here, or you can go to the description and get it out of there. Okay, so with that being said, I'm gonna let you go ahead and get to this video because I didn't rambled on long enough. And I just know you waiting to get into this video. All right, so with that being said, stop waiting for the change and be the change. Love you. We captured one kid. We're making progress. Love you. Oh, thank you. Yeah, man.
It's hot out here.
Yeah, appreciate it.
I appreciate you doing the school, man.
All right, no problem.
You know, I grew up in this neighborhood and I went to the school, and you know, I see the extra attention you've given them, man.
Yeah.
And I appreciate that.
Oh, thank you. Thank
Yeah,
you.
man. Keep up the good work.
All right, have a good one. Hey, everybody all right? I'm just touching bases with you. For that brief period, it was a guy that lived across the street that came and bought me some waters and said he really, really appreciated what I was doing, okay? And he was giving me the background of the story. He was a older guy, and he said he used to go to that school and stuff like that, and you know, he don't remember the last time somebody really took the time out to do it. You should be able to hear it you should have been able to hear it in the video or however it may be. But you know, if you rewind it, you should be able to hear it. But if not, I'm just reiterating what he was saying, and he was just ecstatic that I was doing what I was doing, and he was like, you know, the next time he's in the area, he doesn't mind coming out, you know, helping, supporting, and he would, you know, get this message out to some of his people in his community, you know, and which was very grateful, and it really, really made me feel a certain type of way inside. You know, it made me feel good that someone came over and just noticed what I was doing and willing to be a part of what I was doing, okay? So, like I said before, it may not seem like it, but we are making progress, okay? So, how are you doing this far? Is everything okay? Are y'all good? Hey, take this time. Hey, pick the pause button. Use the restroom. Go grab you a drink of water and come back, kick your feet up, and watch the rest of this episode of Extreme School Makeovers. It's a good transformation. All right, so I'm going to stop yapping, let you get back to the video, and I'll see you in a minute. Love you. That's it. That's all. Okay. I wasn't able to get the blowdown footage for you because the battery had died, and I wind up having to come back the next day and take some before and afters and stuff like that. But it's okay. We got before and afters, and we got a whole video. Okay. Next week we'll have some blowdown for you. All right. So with that being said, thank you for staying towards the end. Um, Please, if you're new to the channel, hit the subscribe button, give it a big thumbs up, leave a comment. All feedback is good feedback, in my opinion. Help out the channel a little bit. We very much appreciate it. Don't forget to hit the notification bell so you can be abreast of what Extreme School Makeovers got for you. Okay? If you want to be a part of the mission, you want to donate, hey, go in the description, click that link, or it should be a QR code up here. Click that, and you can donate to the mission. Anything is appreciated. We're just trying to get more resources so we can keep this thing moving as efficiently as possible. Okay? Hey, nothing is free in this world, right? But we may do it for free, but let's just be honest, it still costs. Okay? So with that being said, if you would like to be a part of the mission and you would like to donate, please, click the QR or go in the description. It'd be very, very much appreciated. Okay? Like I said before, and like you saw in the video, we reached one. And we're going to reach a whole lot more. Okay? So with that being said, I will see you all next week. Next Sunday will be a new episode of Extreme School Makeovers. Okay? And stop waiting for the change and be the change. Love you. We reached one. I'm so excited. Love you.